Coming up, what an excellent day for stairs. Well, howdy folks, and welcome to Minute 72 of the Exorcist Minute, a show where we endeavor to examine, extrapolate, and excavate The Exorcist, minute by terrifying minute. My name is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I'm Kynan Diaz.
And we'll be your holy guides on this journey through what some have called the scariest movie of all time. Okay, so our minute begins with Kinderman walking around at the bottom of those famous stairs.
And it ends with Karl walking down some stairs.
Yes, it truly is an excellent day for stairs once again on the Exorcist Minute. These stairs, I tell you, we got ascending, we got descending. But okay, let's get back to the top of this minute, which, as we said, actually takes place at the bottom of those famous stairs. We got Kinderman walking around down there, and I just want to say at the very top of this first shot, some movies do a really good job of making something that is really gross and really disgusting in real life look somehow beautiful.
Right.
Am I crazy? Like,
you are not crazy. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. This is grimy and gross. And
yeah. This nasty little corner of Washington, right? With the red brick wall over here and the graffiti and the gross stained steps and the weeds and that bucket. What the hell's in that bucket? But Kynan, I don't know what it is. Like there's something about how like the filth and the grime of cities is portrayed on screen that is somehow like mesmerizing, specifically like East Coast Filth.
That's a great band name. Yes.
East Coast Filth. Yeah. I was the drummer for East Coast Filth. Yeah. But no, it's like, I'm thinking like New York, New Jersey, Washington, right? That crowded, crumbling, brick huddled alleys with the metal trash cans and the spray paint, right? There's something there. Like, I live in LA, and LA is a big city, but it's just a dump, right? Like it's
yeah.
No, it's not the same. I think we have like the largest proportion of our listeners is in LA. So hello,
terrible place.
Fellow Los Angeles. Yeah. But no, like what I'm trying to say is it's not the same, right? I think because they tried to make it look nicer, right? Like it's more spread out, it's more sunny. They got palm trees, but it still smells like pee. like folks, the Hollywood Walk of Fame is not what it's like in pictures, right? The pictures don't give you the smell of the place, right? And
don't go to the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
No, right? And that's different from like an East Coast big city, right? LA is okay. There we go. LA is pretentious.
Yes.
It's like a hipster that doesn't believe in bathing. New York just owns it. It's like, this is fucking New York, right?
Right. If you don't like it, you can't make it here.
Yeah.
You can't make it anywhere.
Exactly, right?
Well, I like this quote. I'm trying to pull it up. So I have this from Faulkner. Everything in Los Angeles. Hold on. Wait. It's Faulkner. Hold on. Everything in Los Angeles is too large, too loud, and usually banal in concept. The plastic asshole of the world.
I like that. The plastic asshole of the world.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, right? I like that you say it's pretentious. They're trying to pretend that it's not. And if you go downtown, like to downtown Los Angeles, it is empty. Right, like there's not a lot of people walking around, even though they've got these giant skyscrapers and everything. So it feels like it's pretending to be a city, right?
It's like you're on a movie set, right?
Right.
But yeah, like I don't know what it is about New York, and New York is like by all accounts, like it's dirtier.
Sure,
but at the same time, I don't know. Stephen King fans will know this book series called The Dark Tower. And it's about this, this reality jumping cowboy who possesses one of the other characters. And he's like, but in his own world, he's like sick and dying and he needs some food, right? And this character lives in New York. So he goes and he grabs some stuff and he's thinking about it. He's like, wait a minute. This guy's from another world. What if this stuff, kills him? And this dimensional portal jumping cowboy is like, hey, don't worry about that. I've eaten worse things. I've eaten bugs that still, wriggled all the way down my throat. And this New York guy is like, he caps it all off by saying, yeah, but this is New York. And I like if anything summed up, right, like just what New Yorkers think of New York, and how they kind of like wear it as like a badge of pride. Also, it's like this love-hate relationship of like, this place is a dump, but it's our dump, right? Yeah, you can't do that in LA. LA, you're not allowed to say LA is a dump, right? I'm committing a sin, right, by saying this, right? You're supposed to pretend that it's all avocado toast and sunshine and all that stuff.
Well, I think part of it is there are outstandingly beautiful, maybe not neighborhoods, but blocks of Los Angeles, right? Like true. there are places you could be there and like, wow, I am here. I have made it. This is incredibly gorgeous. But then, like unlike in New York, where the neighborhoods are far apart and there's a lot of variety to them, but like in LA, like you can go a block away from a beautiful corner in Beverly Hills and then be in a terrible neighborhood.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, going back to Washington, which I have never been to, but I actually plan on going there soon, and I wanna visit these steps.
Great city.
Yeah. Now, but if you just showed me this shot with Kinderman by this like nasty red brick wall, right? And I had never seen The Exorcist, I would think that this was like Mr. Mushnick from Little Shop of Horrors, and he's about to sing like Skid Row, right? Or something like that. I just sang
that at karaoke, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh. And yes, folks, I know Mushnick doesn't sing that song in the show. I know, okay?
A lot of other people sing it.
A lot of other people, right? He doesn't sing it, though. Right, yeah. But to my point, folks, go watch the movie version of Little Shop with Rick Moranis and watch the Skid Row song and just look how nasty and dirty and beautiful that set is. And yes, folks, that is a set, right, folks? But like look at the attention to detail, just how grimy and gross it looks. I don't know. Like, I think I'm crazy because I'm the only person who's like, wow, that looks cool. But like, I would call that set a beautiful set that they built. And I would call this shot in our movie, The Exorcist, a beautiful shot. Kynan, Dr. Kynan, psychiatrist Kynan, help me out here. Like, diagnose me. Like, am I nuts?
No, you are not nuts. I think this is great. So this shot, we have all this grime in it, but also what we have is this clash of different lines and different shapes and different colors, right? It doesn't fit together. Right. Right. So it's got high contrast to it. So this is a real place. And so just naturally, architecturally, right, we had two different architects who had two different ideas of what should be in this corner, right? And they haven't like tried to make it match, which is something that like they do in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or something. They try to make it match, and then you feel how fake and authentic it is, right?
Yeah.
But this is like two different parts of the neighborhood growing and converging, and they have different ideas of what should be here. And the stairs are, designed probably not by an architect of either building, but by the municipality probably.
Oh, yeah.
And just put there for like
and
function.
Foundation.
Right. And they're just put there like for function, like we need to get from here to there. And so like it's not designed to look pretty or anything like that.
Right.
And then something that's weird going off to the side of the stairs that I hadn't really noticed before. We're looking minute by minute. What is this other line of bars? Like they're kind of dented. Is that to like keep people from falling off the stairs or something, like a catch-all?
Well, if that's what it is, it doesn't work.
Well, it's something else there to the side. Yeah. Is it bent metal or is it like rubber or plastic that's drooping or what is it even?
Yeah.
And it must just be there because people were dropping stuff down the stairs or something. Or
yeah, you're right. It almost looks like like well, Kynan, obviously these are the stairs for the cats.
Oh, don't get me started on building stairs for the cats. That's what I know I need to do that. I'm so, you were talking about how you make vision boards and I have sort of the opposite because I'm just sort of a negative person where I'm like, I resent what I see. I resent, I covet what I see, but I'm resentful like Jamie Gum from Silence of the Lambs. Right?
I see.
So like, yeah, I see. Right. So like when I see these, there's a guy who has a room just for his cats. And he redesigns the stairs, the little shelves he puts up for the cats. Like every week, there's a new TikTok video where he unscrews and undrills. Like there would be a carpet swatch that the cat can climb up and everything. And every week, it's a video about how he's redone it, and it's a new like maze for the cat, so the cat never gets bored of his old maze. Yeah, and it just makes me feel like shit. My cat has to sit on the same couch every day.
Well, why would that make you feel like shit? I mean,
because I know what's possible. Like the cat doesn't know what's possible. I know what's possible.
Yeah. Hey, whatever that cat doesn't know.
Which is most things. He can't
Which is
read.
most things, right?
He watches TV, but doesn't, I don't think, understand what's going on. Right. But yeah, I it makes me feel terrible.
Meanwhile, he's rating our show 1 star now. He's like,
I understand. He doesn't understand words. He understands tone. So he certainly knows like when he's being talked about. Right. But there's this clash of styles there. Like the art director and production designer on the first Tim Burton Batman movie, right? Like they were looking at like putting up purposefully, like not that the buildings themselves are ugly, but like their proximity to each other and all these different styles was going to be ugly, like Art Deco versus Spanish or Gothic or any of these things, and they'd be pretty on their own but not mixed together, which is what really happens in cities.
Yeah, when you're planning a city, you're probably planning more. Here I go talking about city planning, something I know everything about. But no, I imagine you're looking at like zoning, and you're looking at like geography, and you're looking at proximity and things like that, and capacity and durability of the buildings and everything. But like who's looking at style, right? Nobody's looking at style. Nobody's looking at uniformity or whatever. Or maybe they are. Maybe I'm just being stupid.
No, but when they do, it feels tyrannical, right? Because you're talking about like, everybody for the next 10 years in this certain radius can only do this, and that's not that has obvious downsides to it.
You got just like rows and rows and rows of these weird gray slate, skyscrapers and stuff like that, right? With statues of Friedkin on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying pain is temporary.
I don't know if you remember this, Lester. You were there. I was trying to remember the story, then I just remembered you were there.
Oh. And I was there? And I was there.
No, so there was a guy that I was interested in. We were sort of, and maybe not dating. If he's listening, I'm sorry. We were not dating. That's not what I'm saying. But does
he know you were not dating?
I mean,
or is he getting that news right now?
No, I mean, we had been in date-ish situations. But just if he's listening, which he's not, just so we're clear, we weren't dating. We weren't.
Okay.
But
sorry, you had to find out about this in this way.
I don't go around claiming him as one of my boyfriends or something, but
Okay.
But anyway, so we were at a New Year's party, and it was at a hotel suite, and they had books everywhere, and I opened the book because like I said at parties, instead of flirting with anybody or like hanging out with people, I just sit in the corner. So I read this book. And it was a book of photographs, and it had one of my favorite photographs in it, which is a wide photograph of a 99-cent store. Do you remember this photo?
I don't.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I go and say, hey, and I bring the guy around like, hey, I want to show you this book. It's one of my favorite photos. And it's this 99-cent store, and it's got rows of like of different colors, it's all striped, the candy aisle and the detergent aisle, etc. And it's like this mismatch of all these beautiful colors. But when we look widely, and it's got a big thing that says like 99 cents only, and it's very commercial. And you were there, and you said that you'd shown this to some of your students overseas to show them what America looked like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So maybe you have some. I don't know. Maybe you don't remember this photo anymore.
It's coming back. But...
I'll find the photo.
Yeah.
And then the guy said, "Yeah, it's disgusting." And I went, "No, I think it's really beautiful." And he got. And then you were telling him about how, like it's about like order in chaos and like all these different colors and aesthetics, etc. And here I looked it up.
I said all of those smart things.
Yeah. So I looked it up. It's by Andreas Gursky, and it's in the Broad right now in LA. So it's a very famous photo, and I think it's a beautiful photo. And the guy got so embarrassed, and maybe that's why we never dated, because he said that this photo, and I think it can be many things, right? Like something can be beautiful and disgusting. It's about commercialism. And it's about a bunch of things. It's about commercialism, but also about aesthetics, and that's the value of art, right? But maybe that's how I again messed up flirting at a party. Embarrassing this guy.
Yeah. But yeah, so our detective Kinderman, he reaches the bottom of those stairs, and we cut as he looks up. He's looking up the length of the stairs.
Yeah. And again, look at that contrast behind him too. We have two different patterns of sidewalk area, right? Like a checkered board and then these big slates. So even then, like, and that's gorgeous, right? Out of focus, but it should be contrasty and icky, but it is a gorgeous shot.
Yeah, no. And it's like it's fading into blurriness as like the farther we go, right? But like up right by like his arm down in the bottom right corner, it's like nice and sharp, right? So you can see those are definitely, cobblestones, right?
Right.
Those will really hurt if somebody, falls down those steps and lands on them, right?
Right. And this recalls a shot from Psycho with our detective character in Psycho. And you remember what happens to him?
Like doesn't he fall down the stairs?
He gets stabbed in the fucking eye, and he gets and then falls down the stairs. Yeah,
and falls down the stairs. Yeah.
So that's sort of recalling. I don't know how conscious that is. I don't think this is a movie where we like make homages, not like a Tarantino movie, right?
Yeah.
But like that reminds me of this shot, right? Of Detective. Well, Detective Arbogast versus Detective Kinderman.
Right. I mean, there is that like in the hypnotism scene, the hypnotist kind of goes down. Like we got the camera mounted on his stomach, right? As he's falling down.
A lot like the Detective Arbogast shot.
Yeah. But yeah, so we cut from there, and we got him looking up the stairs, and this is his POV. Am I right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, but this image is actually closer to what I was talking about, like way back when we first met Chris, and she was looking up at the attic. Right? Remember, I was talking about like I wanted it more to be like this, right? Like this shot is still a little bit off center, but it looks more menacing. Like you might get swallowed up by those stairs, right? Like I know we're going up, but it almost looks like there's more danger of you falling up those steps, right? Like maybe it's the triangles here. Like you can see like that the railing starts far away at the top of the screen, and it just like rushes at you, like nah, right?
Yeah. And the horizon, we could see the horizon, but it's almost like, you have to strain to see the sky as you're looking at these things. Yeah, it's all the way up. It's like 7% up down the frame, right? It's like most of the frame is just you'd climb and climb forever and ever.
Right. It's all stairs, right?
Oops,
stairs all the way down. Oops, all stairs. I was doing the turtles all the way down, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, both of those work, yeah. That's what we'll call that minute, right? When he falls down this, it was like, oops, all stairs. Okay, but so we cut from there to Chris tucking Reagan in, and I noted it's very dark in the room here. Have we ever seen the room this dark? And then I thought, of course we have, right? Chris has gone in there at night before, but I think it got me because this is the daytime and it's dark. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we've seen it this dark during the day.
Yeah. So I'm not a cinematographer, but so if a cinematographer is listening, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry for simplifying cinematography. But in general, night shots are not actually brighter or darker than day shots. They have higher contrast ratios. And that sort of mimics the way that we see things at night. So like there will be bright slivers of brightness, and they'll be dark all the way dark, right? But when you have the average of them, the bright spots and the dark spots, they're not necessarily brighter or darker than a day shot. Yeah, but it's the ratio between where the black is and where the white is on that tone. So this one I would say does even feel darker than some of our night shots, because like as you look, there's like what's the brightest thing here? It's not particularly bright compared to some of the brightest elements that we would have in the night scenes in the same space. So like it's Chris's shoulder, I guess. Yeah, but it's not particularly bright.
Right. It looks like it gives me the feeling that like because she's sick, because she's kind of like being taken care of, like somebody like probably Karl like went in and just like shut all the curtains and everything like that. Like you can tell that it's daytime. There's light coming in from outside, but it's being stifled in this way. Right. Yeah.
We could have light. We could have, happiness.
Yeah.
We've chosen not to because it's Karl.
Has nothing to do with Reagan's condition. It's just his aesthetic, right? There's too much happiness in this room. Happiness is bad for the little girl's health. She will get disappointed later in life.
Right.
Best to keep it to a concentrated well of sadness.
Yeah, he doesn't say things like "sleep tight, little girl." He just says "sleep, little girl."
Yeah.
Not good night, just nighttime, little girl.
Nighttime. You will not be able to control whether the bed bugs bite or not. So best not to worry about it. You know, you have a finite number of sleeps in your life. And this is just one more.
One less.
But he closes that door and he walks back down the hall. It's like thinking that what he said was just like loving and tender.
Right, exactly.
And,
like, God, I love her.
Yeah. They grow up so fast. And then they die.
Inside Out, the Pixar movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's such an interesting sort of breakdown because in Riley at the beginning of the movie, she is controlled by joy. Joy is the captain. And then there also is sadness, disgust, fear, and anger, right? And then we see a glimpse into Riley's mother's head, and she is controlled by sadness, with the other four being like the captain of her is sadness. And then we see in the father's head, and his captain is anger, right? Yeah. And then we see like the cats in the world are captained by fear, right? And so like I've thought about that recently, like in my family, like I am sadness. My dad is sadness. My mother is anger. My sister is disgust. My brother is fear. I think Mark is fear. Right. And I hope it's not like, this might sound more insulting than like the Harry Potter houses, but it's kind of the same thing, right? But it is by like hurt you at a deep level.
I'm a member of House Sadness. Oh, geez. Well, now you've given me this thing to think about.
Yeah, we should think about that. But like, yeah.
I wonder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Karl.
That's Karl. Well, I was going to say, like, and if we go into Karl's head, you have sadness, fear, anger, disgust and joy. And they're all just kind of like in the corner. And you have, like, at the helm, you just have a smaller version of Karl.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go into that head, it's the same thing. And it's just like an infinite number where it's just Karl at the wheel. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I said my brother was fear. I think he's joy, and Mark is fear. So, So, like, Chris is normally... Reagan is joy normally.
Yeah, definitely.
Pazuzu is joy.
Yeah, oh yeah. See, folks. If you wanna get a different flavor of joy, right there. Yeah.
Let's see here. Who else do we have here? Karis and Marin.
Oh. Karis would be sadness.
Karis is sadness. Marin is not disgust. He's sort of not anger.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a fear.
Yeah. But fear of, I don't know, maybe not being able to complete his task.
Right, sure. And that's like that's his the core of him, right? Is that fear, right? He's got
because the whole prologue is him like wrestling with that premonition that like he's going to have to, like, he's reaching the end of his life. He's saying his goodbyes and everything. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, see, folks, if you were ever wondering, like, when are they going to mix the Pixar movie Inside Out into the 1973 Exorcist, here you go.
Here we go.
Minute 72, where we're looking up some stairs. I'm tucking in a little girl in a dark room.
So, speaking of our little girl and what's going on inside of her head.
Oh my gosh, actually. Has it all been just replaced? Like, is everybody just got a Captain Howdy face now?
Yeah. And
like,
they're having
anger Captain Howdy
time of their goddamn lives.
Oh, it's a party in there. But yeah, so back to our darkened room. Now, Reagan looks conked out. She looks done, right? Like, she looks like she's having the sleep that I can only dream of, right? Like, I'm such a light sleeper. I would kill to I would throw somebody out of a window to have that kind of sleep that she's having right now. And yeah, Chris is touching her in this way. Or does she even touch her? It's almost like her hand hovers for a second, like she wants to touch her. Does she actually make contact?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, that actually kind of speaks to, like, what is in my daughter's bed right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even know if I want to touch it. Right.
Right.
But yeah, whatever it is, Chris is very hesitant, right? Like maybe she doesn't want to wake her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's here I get a sense of the rift that is growing between them, right? It's almost like she's afraid to touch her own daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can think, oh, she's gently caressing her forehead, but no, it's almost like she's afraid. It's like she wants to soothe her daughter, to comfort her, or to just have contact with her, but she no longer can. Reagan is out of her reach, even though she's literally right there. Now, real quick, her hands aren't yet tied, are they? No. Okay, of course not. But yeah, she's got both her hands up in the position that they will be when they're tied, right? Like, folks, did you notice? Like sort of like she's doing like the strongman flex pose thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we cut from there to a close-up of the hands, and it looks like Chris has discovered something. Now, can I say, this took me all the way back to our opening scene in Iraq with Father Marin, our man in khakis, right? As he's digging and he suddenly senses something and he reaches into that hole, right? And we, the audience, are like peering in and we're inching closer to the screen, like craning our necks because we want to see that thing as well, right? Like what is Father Marin found? What is it, right?
Yeah, I'm nodding vociferously, which you can't see on the podcast. Yes, absolutely. Right.
And we're like, what is it? Right. And I got the same
like, don't
vibe
touch
here.
it, but please touch it. And oh God,
yes, exactly. Right. Like, don't go into that room where the killer is, but also kind of go into that room.
It'd be fun. Yeah. Got all this popcorn,
Yeah. I bought my ticket already, But yeah, so I got the same vibe here as Chris is moving Reagan's hand and she's reaching into the darkness of the bed and we're like, what is it? What is it? And it's a cross.
A cross from where?
Across. Ah, Jesus. I just got that, folks. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. We've said that joke before on.
Yes, we've done that joke before. Yes. Right. But yeah, so not only that, I didn't even remember this, Kynan. She pulls it out and shows it to the camera, and it's upside down. Right? Like in my mind's eye, I remembered this scene, and the big scare, the big reveal is that it's a cross in her non-religious daughter's bed. One more thing that could possibly be like feeding her psychosis. Like, oh no, this is where she's getting all these ideas about possession. Someone in the house is enabling my daughter's illness with all this Catholic imagery. And make no mistake, folks. I think that is what's going on in Chris's head right here. Right? That's the big like dun dun dun. Right? The discovery of this cross under Reagan's pillow. Right? Like I said in the previous minute, this is happening at the same time as she's remembering the conversation with the doctors at Behringer Clinic, right? It's intercutting between her reading the witchcraft book and finding the crucifix, and the doctors basically saying, are you religious? Is your daughter religious? She might be acting in this way because she read something somewhere. She picked up some religious ideas, right? Keep all that stuff away from her. Otherwise, it's just going to feed into her like condition. And then boom, crucifix under the pillow, right?
Yeah. Could we talk about the upside down cross imagery? I don't know if I haven't prepped for this. You haven't prepped for this, I think, but, but just because, that hadn't occurred to me, right? That it's an upside down cross, which scares people, right? That's a very scary sort of feeling. But the upside down cross is often used in regards to Peter, right? St. Peter, Simon Peter, who is traditionally thought of as the first pope. So in Christian tradition, he was crucified upside down as a way of not making him a martyr the way that Jesus's right side up crucifixion had happened, like as a way to punish St. Peter for being the apostle. And then, the Christians took that upside down cross as a symbol of his particular martyrdom, right?
Yes.
But then, of course, if you're not in that tradition, an upside down cross, it makes sense why people would associate that with Antichrist imagery or goths and rock music people, like how rebellious it seems to turn the cross upside down.
Yes.
So like it's an actual Christian Catholic image, but it is a convenient anti-Christian image. So like depending on the context, it could either be a reverent or an irreverent image.
Yeah. So back to finding this cross, right? So in the book, like that's the big like, oh shit moment, right? Like someone in my house is like maybe trying to do good, but they're actually hurting my daughter, right? That being said, I like that Friedkin or the cinematographer made the choice for her to pull out and present it to the camera upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like just a little visual hint that, things are not right.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, yeah, can you imagine, right? Like she pulls it out from under the pillow and it's right side up to us, the viewers. Could that possibly send like a mixed message? Cause like we're watching a movie called The Exorcist. The priests are the good guys, right? Christ is the good guy, the power of Christ. I mean, we don't know about that part yet, but we've seen the priests. We've seen the way that they act, and they are the good guys. And then Chris finds this right side up cross under the pillow. I think it would be confusing. Like, oh, is someone looking out for her? Like, have the priests already been here? Right? Something like that.
Oh, I see that Karras has put it there or something like that. Or?
Yeah, right. And like, even though they haven't met yet, like it was like Reagan has like a little guardian angel or something like that. It's like, could that be the reason that Friedkin or Roisman, that's the cinematography.
Oh, and
right?
Roisman, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of them having the idea, like, let's have it be upside down for the shot, right? Like, like I really like that, almost like this subliminal hint. Right?
Now, in the script here, I don't know what it says in the book because I'm a wuss, so I apologize. In the script, the crucifix that she pulls out is made of white bone. I don't know what that is about. I don't know if you had anything on that.
Yeah, in the book, it doesn't say anything about what it's made out of.
Well, Blatty wanted it to be made of white bone.
Interesting.
I don't know what that means, but
it was like, if I recall, and folks can correct me on this, but if I recall, it doesn't mention the material in the book, and he didn't get what he wanted in the screenplay either.
Poor Blatty.
Yeah, poor Blatty. People just not listening to him.
Yeah, but this is also a moment where we're supposed to. So unlike like the sort of tenderish moment where Chris is tending to Reagan and then she actually finds this thing in the screenplay, it's called out that what is happening here is Karl and Sharon and Chris together, tying Reagan to the bed and hooking her up with a nasogastric feeding tube.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so here it is meant to be that they are strapping her in, like they're getting ready for some kind of other procedure and like protecting themselves from her and
right. And herself also. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that they have a feeding tube for her. And then that's when, as we're trying to pick up her hands, you said that they're already sort of posed into the restraints here.
Right.
In the script, it is specifically because she is putting her daughter's arms into the restraints that way.
Interesting.
And then she instantly finds it and points to Karl and says, who put this here? So it's not a separate scene later.
Yeah. Huh. That it makes me wonder, because I think in the book it's a little bit more like what we're seeing here right now. Okay. Wow, that's interesting that the change he made, like same in the book, same in the final cut of the movie, but like a little bit different in the screenplay. But then it got changed anyway.
And then Friedkin or somebody might be like, nah, put it the way it was, right? Like your initial blush. And again, like we want to. There are disagreements that are on record between Blatty and Friedkin that we have, but we want to find drama, right? Where it's like Friedkin overruling Blatty or Blatty overruling Friedkin, and that, there's the natural stuff that does happen in making a movie. But Blatty is the producer and the writer, so he has unique control here. So if he really wanted to push this, he probably could have pushed these changes in. Right.
And there's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of like footage and a lot of documentation of him kind of like admitting that the choices that were made eventually in the movie were right.
Right.
And we're definitely going to get to those. We haven't come across any of the big ones yet,
right?
But yeah,
we'll Blatty, as you talked about in the Oscar episode, was such a huge booster for the film. He was like, we should have won every single, like everyone on my team should have won every single one of these awards, and the fact that they didn't is like a sign of malfeasance here, right? Yeah. So like even though there are disagreements with him and Friedkin, he by the end it was like, Friedkin should have won Best Director. Like Friedkin was fantastic.
Yeah. He was the cheerleader for the he was the Jamie Lee Curtis of of The Exorcist.
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to go into you love this Jamie Lee Curtis thing so much.
She
I don't want to
is my favorite ever.
Yeah, people pointed out. I happen to think that Jamie Lee Curtis was the best supporting actress performance of the year, and she won the Oscar for that.
Ooh, you are walking a line here with some listeners.
I would have voted for Jamie Lee Curtis. It was a pretty good lineup of really good actors. I would have voted for Jamie Lee Curtis, but as some people have pointed out, right, she wasn't winning a lot of the early awards, and that people might have been switching their support to Jamie Lee Curtis partially because of how great of a cheerleader she was for other people. She was rather selfless in her campaign. Like she was like saying like, oh, I'm just surprised that people are paying attention to me. You should be paying attention to Michelle Yeoh. Like she would constantly say like,
or Ki Hui Kwan or
and Stephanie Su, but she was constantly like anything you like about my performance is because of Michelle Yeoh, right?
Yes.
And really, really doing that.
So much so that it became a meme,
right?
Like they imitated her on SNL. Like doing that.
Right. And so people responded well to that. And they were like, oh, well, that's just what a nice person. So I'm going to start thinking about voting for her, which, in an ideal world, you're not voting for the campaign, even if it's like a really nice campaign, you're voting for the performance. So I think that throws some people off when they're like, well, what does that have to do with who the best actress of the year is, like how well she's doing in interviews,
But I mean, and then some people were arguing that it was more for like a body of work as well.
Sure.
Yeah,
of course. That's what happens. Yeah. And then, when it's a winner that I disagree with, I'm equally mad about that. I just happen to agree with.
Don't get me started on this body of work bullshit.
Right. Like Russell Crowe winning for Gladiator, when it really was like people were like, "Oh, I really wanted to vote for him the year before, but it was Kevin Spacey in American Beauty, and I couldn't, so I missed the chance to give it to Russell Crowe when I, maybe wanted to, and then you give it to Russell Crowe for Gladiator, which is, just not as complex for performance."
Yeah. The thing, I think for me, the thing that got me was, she's playing just such a different character from what she normally plays. And that's always the thing that gets me. I mean, it's like, me, like Kynan, like we talked about before, like my style of acting, I love to disappear and be just somebody completely different. And
often literally, like if you could be Doug Jones parts, right? Like, like from Pan's Labyrinth to The Shape of Water, where you're unrecognizable. Yeah. Like,
oh, that would be, that's my dream right there. Right. Yeah. Is a Doug Jones / Jamie Lee Curtis, Deirdre Boguta role.
Right. So, I would have voted for her. So I'm like, you guys are being sucky. Next year, I'll have the opposite. Or like, this should not stand. Anyways.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, folks. Like Stephanie Shu, like she did an amazing job.
And Carrie Condon in The Banshees. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
That is a great performance. And Hong Chow, who's one of the.
What do you mean you don't know if I've seen that? We talked about it on the thing.
On our thing?
Yes.
Listen, so you all know me and Lester from The Exorcist, obviously, but I talk about a lot of movies. This is like, it's my job. I'm very lucky. I teach film at a university. I talk about tons and tons of movies all the time. So, I do forget sometimes what we talk about.
This is why I reached out to Kynan. There is only one person who could co-host the Exorcist Minute with me, and that is Michelle Yeoh.
Can you imagine?
Oh God. Okay, so back to our movie. I can't stop thinking about Chris freaking out because the cross is upside down. Like she pulled it out from under the pillow and is like, the cross I put under Reagan's pillow every night. It's been replaced by this upside down cross. Who did this? Karl, Willie, did you put this upside down cross under Reagan's pillow?
No.
And where's the regular cross?
We would never. We know the plan every night.
Yes. Madam, that cross is the same cross you're just holding. No. One of you is lying.
You man.
Chris just has like trouble with like object permanence, Howard's not even gone. He just went to the store. Honey, I'm back with the eggs. It's like, oh, so do you think you're just going to waltz back into our lives? Is that what you think? What? Even Captain Howdy's got to be like, no. We went over this before. I'm not your daughter. I'm a demon. I'm Captain Howdy. Remember? Like, Chris, you got to work with me. This doesn't work unless we're both on the same page, right? Burke shows up like, Chris, why aren't you on set? We're shooting the scene, love. And she's like, Burke, you're alive.
Tommy Louie said you were gone.
Tommy Louie Mike.
But that's the instead of, they don't need an exorcist, they need an object permanencer.
The object permanencer. But yeah, okay. Actually, so I wanted to say that I like how we don't have her finding the cross intercut with her at the doctor's, right?
Mhm.
But we do have it intercut with Kinderman
Mhm.
finding something. So at the same time as Chris and the cross,
Mhm.
we get Kinderman, and he sort of like nudges some grass with his foot,
Right.
and he turns away to go up the steps, but then no, hang on. And he goes back down and he bends over to pick something up. Now, firstly, there is a long span of time between him sort of nudging the grass with his shoe, turning to go up the stairs, and then pausing and coming back down. Did you notice that? Like it took a really long time for him to like remember what he kind of sort of maybe saw.
Yeah, I love it. I think it is. It's like the version of reaching into that hole in a rock or reaching under the pillow, but it's in front of our face the entire time. I love how slow that is.
Yeah. It's almost like something called him back there, right? Like he thought maybe he saw something, but then he dismissed it, and then his like intuition, that famous Kinderman intuition, right? It kicks in halfway up the steps, and he goes back down and he investigates, and that's when he finds. What the heck is that?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
And I have not looked forward in the movie. Maybe I should be doing that. I don't know. But I think it's kind of helpful here because I'm like, I don't know what we're supposed to think for a first-time viewer what this is.
My memory keeps on wanting to make it the Pazuzu amulet.
Absolutely.
Like I keep on thinking that's what it is. Like even as I was watching this minute, like and taking notes, I was like, okay, here's where he finds the Pazuzu amulet. But then I'm looking really hard at this thing, and this camera wants us to look really hard at this thing. It's pulling in real close, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what this is supposed to be. It looks like something man-made, like something possibly made out of clay.
Yes, but is it? But it's gray, so it looks like ancient clay, like the kind of thing we would associate with Pazuzu. It might have little arms. I mean, so I'm sorry. Some of our listeners have watched the entire Exorcist more recently than me. Do we find out what this is? This is a really stupid question. Do we have a scene later that says what this is?
I don't like. And again, folks, yeah, like I read the book every Halloween, and
but do we? Yeah, do we find this out? Does he take it upstairs with him? And
we're gonna Kynan in later episodes that I almost said in later episodes that come later. But in later episodes, we're either going to be confirmed in our confusion about this thing, or we're going to be eating some crow.
That's okay. Either way, I'm glad. Yeah, but it does look like a little Pazuzu head or something. Or maybe we want it to look like that.
Yeah.
Like the kind of Pazuzu head that you would keep to ward off Lamashtu. At the same time, is this meant to be Reagan's clay?
That's the other thing that I'm thinking this could be.
Right.
Like because there is a part in the book where he notices the bird sculpture and he like scratches a little bit of paint off of it and he like sees like a clay sample somewhere else, or well, maybe I'm misremembering that, but like he pays close attention to Reagan's sculptures and he notes that they're linked in some way to the desecrations.
Right. And again, so until I've been watching this and we were talking about this, it did not occur to me that what was on those statues was clay put onto them. I have always, I've seen The Exorcist, maybe 10 times. I've always thought it was some magical thing that was protruding outward from them. It's never occurred to me that someone had tacked clay onto them. So I've never questioned what this was, I think.
Yeah. Weird though, because what this at the bottom of the steps was?
Yes.
Yeah. Weird because like the movie wants to show it to us so much, right? Like it's moving in and it's like we got the close up of his hands as he's but like it's almost like I'm imagining Friedkin behind the camera being like turn it so that the camera can see.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we can't definitively say what the heck this is that he finds. All we know is that it's very important, and we should be gasping right now.
And we are comparing it, right? Because in the script, I couldn't find this in the script. In the script, there's a very brief establishing shot of Kinderman looking up at the window that comes after this conversation with Karl. So like it goes from the Behringer Clinic, the Behringer Clinic.
And Foundation.
And then it goes to the McNeil house. We have the thing with the cross. And then Chris is confronting Sharon and Karl about that. And then we have a very brief shot of it just says exterior house behind Kinnaman looking up to Reagan's window. So we don't, unless it comes later, I couldn't find it where Kinnaman is doing this scene and finding this clay thing in the hay downstairs.
Yeah,
the straw, I suppose.
Oh. So you're saying this is so you're saying from the screenplay this isn't even included.
Not that I could find. Maybe I've missed it somewhere where this is earlier in the day, earlier in the shoot, or later. But like in the movie, right, we get the idea that because of the way editing works with parallel action, right, where we have two different spheres of action that we're cutting back and forth from, it makes it feel like they're happening simultaneously.
That they're happening simultaneously, and okay, this is student Lester. They are also related.
Yeah, exactly. That there is a thematic connection. If we can't figure out like how they're impacting each other, then we assume that they're just related thematically, right?
Yeah,
yeah. If we don't want to mind going to the Greek tragedy trap for a second.
Oh yeah, let's get into the Greek tragedy trap. It's been a while since we've fallen in some traps. So
right. So the Greeks talked about in drama that there were the unities. So there were Greek unities in drama. And so it was the unity of action, the unity of space, or the unity of place is what they used to call it. And the unity of time. So if you think about like Oedipus takes place in one room. Right. So it's a unity of place. Even when we have Oedipus, which they talk a lot about the past and they talk about things that happen outside of the throne room, but it's all in one room. It is usually in the course of 24 hours, or at least on one calendar day or 24 hours. And every scene is connected to each other. So it's the unity of action. It's all one thing. Everything leads to the next. There's no extraneous plot parts to it. It's the unity of space, or used to be place because they didn't really think about space the same way, where it's all in the exact same location and it's all in one day. And that was Medea is like that. And even like the sequel to Oedipus that I can't think of right now, about Oedipus's daughter. It's very good. Antigone. I think it's a better play than Oedipus.
I was like Oedipus II. This time it's Oedipal. This time it's very complex.
That's very good. Yeah, Oedipus II, Tokyo Drift, right? so in Antigone,
the Oedipus. Sorry.
In Antigone, there's a lot of discussion of like, what did you just do? You went out into the field and you covered the bodies and you did all the stuff, right? But then every time we talk about it, we're back in the same location because that was the rule of the unities of action and unity of space and unity of time. So then, like in a Shakespeare play, right? We have adapted that.
Oh no!
In a Shakespeare play, we've adapted that. So it's not all that every scene adds to the next one because we have subplots.
Yes.
But what unites the subplots in Much Ado About Nothing or what have you, right, is that they're on the same theme. So even in like Midsummer Night's Dream, right, like we have a bottom who's turned into an ass and that kind of thing. Like, what does that have to do with the four young lovers, et cetera? And what does it have to do with Oberon and Titania, right? Like, it's about love. It's about like seeing past people's outward appearances and like being in love with somebody against your will and all that stuff. So even though like Puck doesn't meet up with Hermia or anything like that, right? Those stories are related because it's about love finding a way or falling in love with the wrong person. Or Oberon and Titania, they want to be at war with each other as god and goddess, but they love each other, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a unity of theme. So even in movies, right, which then the big jump forward in American movies, like in D.W. Griffith's time, was parallel action, that we could have these things that are happening in Washington, D.C. and happening in the South at the same time in The Birth of a Nation. And we would make the connection between them just by the fact of cutting between them. So we would say, like, okay, these things must, because of the way that film works, they must be unified in some way. So they must be, if we don't see them causing each other, they must have some relation to each other, right? They must be thematically similar or aesthetically similar or something, or else why are we watching them?
Yeah. Oh, and there we go, like with causation versus correlation.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't think we're being told that like Kinderman downstairs is causing Chris to find the crucifix or vice versa.
No.
Right, exactly. But we intuit that they must be related or we would not be cutting back and forth like this.
Right.
They must have some thematic relationship or or they will, we call it parallel action in cinema, even though the point is that the whole reason we would do parallel action is that they're eventually going to converge. So eventually they will not be parallel. So it's kind of a dumb term, right? So it's like by their nature, they will
momentary parallel action,
right? By their nature, they're going to intersect with each other. But yeah, these two different spheres of action are going to combine. And then when they do, we'll go, oh my God, these two different spheres of action that I've been keeping in my head, they have thrust into each other and blown something up.
I thought they were parallel.
Right. The film theorist tells me that they're parallel.
This is the new math again. Right. They're actually perpendicular.
Right,
no,
exactly.
not perpendicular, but they're intersecting. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. You were talking about how in Oedipus everything takes place in one room. I really, really like that, right? And then I was comparing it to another fine masterpiece where it doesn't all take place in one room, called The Room.
It's not just a room; it's the room.
No. But it's not as good as Oedipus now that I'm coming to find.
Now you say that, but which would you rather watch right now? If I'm like, we only have 2 DVDs, Oedipus Rex or The Room, and we have to watch one, or you can't get your paycheck or something, right?
Oh, well,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, You got me there.
Like you'd rather watch Cats than Oedipus Rex.
Oh no, of course, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like if I'm being really, really honest, I'd rather watch like actual real cats, just just playing in a series of mazes that you didn't build them, Kynan.
Oh God, I'm a bad cat daddy.
Oh yeah, I was the drummer for Bad Cat Daddy as well. That's you gotta put that in your pocket somewhere. That's a Bad Cat Daddy.
Yeah, my favorite podcast, Stuff You Should Know, they keep track of, or actually they have some of their fans keep track of that. Like when they accidentally list or say a really great band name or some motto that should be on a T-shirt. So they have some giant database that does that.
All right. Well, folks, listeners, Bad Cat Daddy, I think, is like my favorite thing of this whole episode now.
All right.
And it's not even in the episode.
There are no cats in The Exorcist.
There are no cats in The Exorcist. Yeah. But before we can get a clearer idea of what we're seeing, the camera cuts away and we're back in the McNeil house. We have cut from Kinderman to a door, which opens to reveal Chris. She is coming out of Reagan's room, and as she closes the door, she looks up to see a very guilty Karl hurrying away. Let me say a guilty-looking Karl. He appears to seem guilty, hurrying away down the stairs. Why does he look so guilty? Or is that just our perception of the situation? Because we are with Chris, and we are now suspicious of everyone in the house, right?
But madam, that is just my face.
Madam, I have resting guilt face. Actually, I have resting Karl face. I am my own emotion. But folks, we'll have to wait until next time for the answer to that question and even more to come. But for now, that's all my notes. Kynan, is there anything else we missed?
No, I think we got it.
Okay, folks, this has been another excellent Exorcist Minute. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can reach me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Kynan Diaz, and you can find me on Instagram and Letterboxd as Howdy Kynan.
Yeah, and we got our listener group, Compelling Conversations. Go check that out and request to join. We'll let you in here with us. That's on Facebook. And yeah, thanks again, everyone who has shared the show by word of mouth or on social media. And a big thank you to everyone who has given us a 5-star ratings on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to the show. We really, really appreciate it. That's going to help our little podcast grow and find more cool people like yourself. Okay, Kynan, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think I am, Lester.
Folks, until next time, the power of Bad Cat Daddy compels you.